Okay, another thing is antenna placement. So antenna placement is critical for proper coverage, but it's also you should understand that it can have some security implications as well. All right, so just before we go any further, antennas on our wireless access points, they can be internal, as we see on the left here, or they can be external. And the one on the right happens to have 4 antennas. It gives you an increased amount of throughput, bandwidth, and of course increased range. So it doesn't necessarily mean one is better than the other. One has a longer range, obviously, but you can find wireless access points that come in a variety of shapes and sizes. All right, so antenna placement is critical, but to take that one step further, the antenna placement can also be of different types. It can be either omnidirectional, which means it can provide 360-degree coverage, which means that signal goes out from the antenna in all directions. Or we can have a directional antenna. And a directional antenna focuses the signal in only one direction, hence the name directional antenna. Okay, directional antennas typically will function over longer distances because instead of sending its signal out everywhere, okay, in all directions, it's going to focus it in one direction. So it has that signal strength can go for longer distances. So having said that, we want to make sure that our antenna signal strength is appropriate, not too much, not too little. Because again, antenna placement, if you think about it, we may be sitting in a building, and if we have an antenna that's going in all directions and it's placed near the edge or like the wall, the exterior facing wall of our building, that means that yes, we're going to be giving signal strength into our building, but it could also go out into the parking lot. So someone could be sitting in the parking lot and with a laptop sniffing the network, and they could pick up our communication potentially, crack the web encryption or the WPA encryption, and be sniffing around the network. All right, so if we use a directional antenna, let's say for instance we place it on that exterior facing wall, we place it on the inside of our building, but have it face inside so that we're now having basically the direction of only facing into our building. Well, then we reduce the chance that that signal is going to creep out into the network, or creep out into the parking lot rather, and be picked up by someone that we don't necessarily want to have access to the network. And just so you're aware, wireless antennas or wireless antenna strength or signal strength is measured in dBi. So as a wireless antenna, as you see here with 10 dBi, would be 10x stronger than 0 dBi. So the higher the number, the more signal strength. And then some wireless routers provide control over that antenna strength. Okay, some operating systems on our wireless routers give us that flexibility. Some of the lower end ones do not. But what you need to understand is you would kind of combine the antenna placement, the antenna type, and then the signal strength to do an internal site survey to identify the optimal placement of that antenna or antennas. Okay, if it's a large building, we may have multiple access points or multiple antennas throughout our building. We use that site survey to understand where the signal is in each part of the building, how strong or how weak it is, so we can make sure that we have complete coverage throughout our building. And when I say site survey, it could be a specialized tool, or we could use a laptop with specialized software on the laptop, and we basically just walk through the building. And as you walk through, you'll have a graphical representation that shows you the signal strength of that Wi-Fi connection. Okay, it'll show the SSID, assuming it's broadcast, and then it'll show you the signal strength. So as you move throughout the building, you can identify weak spots within your wireless footprint.